Lauren stood at the edge of the human colony's landing platform, watching the alien ships hover silently above. Their sleek surfaces reflected the twin suns in golden light. It was the first time humans had been invited to the palace of the alien queen, and Lauren felt both nervous and excited. As a scientist, he had studied alien cultures for years, but nothing could have prepared him for what awaited inside. The doors of the largest ship opened, revealing a long corridor lined with smooth, glowing panels. Lauren walked carefully, his boots making soft sounds against the polished floor. Alien attendants in shimmering robes guided him forward, their expressions neutral, yet respectful. Finally, he entered the great hall. The ceiling arched high above, filled with floating lights that looked like stars captured in crystal. At the far end of the hall, the alien queen sat on a throne carved from a single piece of luminous stone. She radiated calm authority. Her skin was a soft silver, and her eyes were deep blue, reflecting centuries of wisdom. "Welcome, Lauren of Earth," the queen said in perfect common, the universal language. Her voice was smooth and commanding, yet there was a warmth beneath it. "We have observed your achievements. Your work with energy manipulation is promising." Lauren bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored to visit your palace." The queen nodded and gestured to her side. "As a sign of trust and alliance, I offer you a gift. My daughter, Myra." At that moment, a small figure appeared beside the queen. Myra's movements were careful and slow. She leaned on a delicate walking staff, her greenish skin almost translucent under the hall's light. Her eyes, a soft amber, darted nervously toward Lauren. She looked fragile, even tiny, compared to the humans and aliens around her. Lauren froze, unsure how to respond. A gift of this kind was unusual even in diplomatic terms. "Your daughter?" he asked cautiously. The queen's eyes were steady. "She is offered to you as a bride. This is our tradition of trust. She is my daughter, and through her, our civilizations can be joined." Lauren swallowed. His mind raced. He had never expected anything like this. Myra looked at him with curiosity, but her eyes also held fear. He realized she had no choice in this, just as he had none but to accept or offend the queen. I am honored, Your Majesty," Lauren said finally, keeping his voice calm. Myra's hands trembled slightly as she lowered her staff. She barely spoke, but when she did, her voice was soft and hesitant. "Hello." Lauren knelt slightly to meet her eyes. "Hello, Myra. I am Lauren." His tone was gentle. He wanted her to feel safe. "It is nice to meet you." Myra blinked, unsure how to respond. She had spent her life being told she was weak because her legs could not support her like other aliens. Humans had always seemed strange to her in stories, distant and clever, and now she was standing in front of one. The attendants guided Lauren and Myra to a quiet chamber where she could rest. The walls shimmered with soft light, and a small garden floated in the middle, full of glowing flowers and hovering water droplets. It was peaceful, unlike the grand hall that had seemed overwhelming. I do not know what to do," Myra admitted quietly, sitting on a soft platform. "You do not need to do anything," Lauren said, sitting beside her. "I will not force you to do anything. We can get to know each other first." Myra hesitated, then nodded slowly. Something in his calm voice made her feel safe. She had never met anyone who spoke to her as a person first, rather than as a daughter, a gift, or a fragile child. Lauren looked around the room. "You have knowledge and abilities that are rare. I would like to learn from you, if you are willing. And I will help you in any way I can." Myra's eyes widened. She had always been treated like she could not do much, like her body defined her limits. No one had ever said they wanted to learn from her before. A small spark of hope lit inside her. For the first time in her life, Myra felt that perhaps this human could see her differently. She did not have to be just a gift or a fragile child. Maybe she could become more. Outside, the alien queen watched silently from a distance, her face unreadable. Lauren did not notice, nor did Myra. Inside the chamber, the future began quietly. A human and a fragile alien girl, brought together by fate, sat together under the floating lights, unaware of how their lives and their civilizations were about to change. The next morning, Myra awoke to a soft glow filling the chamber. The floating garden's light danced across her skin, making her feel calm. Lauren was already awake, studying a small device that pulsed with energy. He looked up and smiled warmly at her. "Good morning, Myra," he said gently. "Did you sleep well?" Myra hesitated, then nodded. "Yes. The room, it is peaceful." "Thank you." "You are welcome," Lauren replied. "I thought today we could take a walk in the palace gardens. It is quiet there, and you can rest whenever you need." Myra felt nervous. Walking outside, even slowly, would draw attention. She had always hidden her disability from strangers, fearing pity or judgment. But Lauren's kind voice gave her courage. The gardens were enormous, filled with strange plants that glowed softly and trees that hummed with energy. Small streams of liquid light flowed along the paths. Myra held her staff tightly, leaning slightly for support. Lauren walked beside her, careful not to rush. "Your people have made this palace very beautiful," Myra said after a moment, her voice soft but thoughtful. Lauren nodded. "It is remarkable. And the aliens who built it are brilliant. I can see why the queen is proud." Myra's amber eyes met his. Do you think I am just a gift?" Her question was quiet, almost a whisper. Lauren stopped and looked at her seriously. "No, Myra. You are not just a gift. You are intelligent, curious, and capable. That is why I want to know you, not because of what others say." Myra's heart warmed. She had spent so many years feeling like she was not enough. For the first time, someone saw her differently. She let out a small sigh, feeling safe. As they walked, Lauren asked about her interests. Myra spoke about alien history, energy patterns, and the strange machines she had studied as a child. Her words were careful at first, but soon they flowed freely. Lauren listened with fascination, asking questions and showing respect for her knowledge. "You know a lot, Myra," Lauren said, impressed. "Some of these ideas are beyond what humans understand. I could learn from you." Myra blinked in surprise. "Learn from me?" she asked. She had always been taught that humans were smarter and stronger. Hearing that someone could learn from her made her feel important. "Yes," Lauren said firmly. "I can teach you some human science, and you can teach me alien science. Together, we can understand more than either of us could alone." Myra smiled for the first time. Her hands rested lightly on her staff, but she did not feel weak. Lauren's words gave her confidence she had never known. Later, they found a quiet fountain surrounded by soft moss. Myra sat down, and Lauren knelt beside her. He opened a small device that projected energy patterns in the air. "I thought we could try something simple," he said. "Just watch and learn. No pressure." Myra leaned forward, curious. As she watched the energy move, she felt a strange resonance inside her. Her hands tingled, and she instinctively reached out. The energy responded to her touch, swirling in delicate patterns. "You did that," Lauren said, amazed. "I did not expect it so soon." Myra's eyes widened. I I think I just reacted to it," she whispered. She had never realized her mind could influence energy this way. A thrill ran through her. "You have potential, Myra," Lauren said gently. "I want to help you understand it safely. Nothing more, nothing less. You are in control." Myra nodded, her ember eyes shining. She felt a new sense of purpose. For the first time, she was not just a fragile child or a gift. She could be more. She could be someone who mattered. As the sun began to set, they returned to the chamber. Myra moved slowly, but Lauren's presence made it easier. She realized that with trust and patience, she could explore her abilities and her mind. She did not need to be afraid. That night, as Myra rested in the glowing chamber, she thought about the day. Lauren had seen her as more than her body, more than a bride or a gift. He had seen her mind, her potential, and her heart. And for the first time, Myra believed that she could grow, learn, and maybe even change the way others saw her. Outside, the palace hummed with quiet life. The alien queen watched from her throne, still silent. She had offered Myra as a gift, but she did not yet understand the bond forming between human and alien. A quiet power was awakening, one that would not be ignored. Inside the chamber, Myra closed her eyes and allowed herself to dream. For the first time, her dreams were not limited by fear or doubt. They were filled with possibilities. Lauren, sitting quietly nearby, watched over her with a gentle smile. He knew this was only the beginning of a journey that would challenge them both, but he also knew that trust and patience could turn fear into the morning light filled Myra's chamber with a soft golden glow. Today, Lauren suggested they explore a different part of the palace, one filled with alien machines and devices Myra had only seen in books. She felt nervous but also curious. "Are you ready?" Lauren asked, his voice gentle. Myra nodded, gripping her staff. "I am ready." They moved through long hallways, passing murals that told the history of the alien civilization. Myra's eyes lingered on the depictions of her ancestors, strong and wise, moving gracefully through battles and inventions. She had always admired them, even if her own body had never allowed her to follow in their footsteps. Finally, they reached a large chamber filled with humming devices. Crystals floated in the air, surrounded by rings of glowing energy. Lauren turned to her with a smile. "This is where we can experiment safely. Nothing dangerous, I promise. We are here to explore your potential." Myra looked around, feeling both awe and fear. She had never imagined that she could touch these machines, much less influence them. But Lauren's calm presence gave her courage. He guided her to a crystal that pulsed softly. "Just focus on it. Feel its energy. Do not force anything. Let it respond to you." Myra hesitated. She closed her eyes and reached out with her mind, sensing the crystal's vibration. A tingling ran through her hands, and the crystal began to rotate slowly. She opened her eyes in surprise. "You did that," Lauren said, his voice filled with amazement. "You are not just intelligent, you can interact with energy directly." Myra's heart raced. She had always felt a strange connection to energy, but no one had ever told her it was real. I did not know I could," she whispered. "You can," Lauren said. "And I want to help you learn. Your body may be fragile, but your mind is powerful. That is your true strength." Myra's amber eyes shone. For the first time, she felt proud of herself rather than ashamed. She experimented with small bursts of energy, making the crystal spin faster, then slower, then hover in mid-air. Lauren guided her gently, correcting her movements and helping her control her focus. Hours passed quickly. Myra's confidence grew with each success. She realized that her limitations were not as strong as she had believed. Her mind could do what her legs could not. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from outside the chamber. Myra jumped, and the crystal wavered in the air. Lauren quickly stabilized it with his hands. "It is okay," he said softly. "You are safe here. Let us finish calmly." Myra took a deep breath and smiled. She realized that fear had always held her back more than her body. With focus and patience, she could achieve things others had never imagined. As the day ended, Lauren and Myra sat quietly among the floating crystals. Lauren looked at her and said, "You have a gift, Myra. Not just the power to move energy, but the wisdom to use it well. This is rare in any species." Myra felt warmth spread through her chest. She had spent so long feeling weak and unwanted, and now someone not only recognized her potential but encouraged it. "Thank you, Lauren," she said softly. "You do not need to thank me," he replied. "You discovered it yourself. I only helped you see it clearly." Myra looked at him thoughtfully. For the first time, she felt like she was more than a fragile child. She could learn, grow, and maybe even surpass what others thought was possible. That night, Myra returned to her chamber alone. She practiced moving small amounts of energy, imagining herself helping her people, building machines, and protecting those she loved. Each success, however small, filled her with hope and strength. Outside, the alien queen watched from her high tower. She had sent Myra as a gift, expecting obedience and delicacy. Instead, she saw the human teaching her daughter, awakening abilities she had never considered. The queen's expression was unreadable, but a seed of curiosity and concern had been planted. Myra lay on her bed, her mind buzzing with possibilities. She realized that this journey was just beginning. Lauren had opened a door, but she had to walk through it herself. And for the first time, she felt ready. Tomorrow, she thought, she would try more. She would learn more. She would not be defined by her body or by what others expected. She could become someone remarkable. And for the first time in her life, Myra felt truly free. The day was bright when Lauren led Myra into the central hall of the palace. The hall was enormous, with high ceilings and walls that shimmered with soft light. Alien nobles moved quietly along the edges, curious about the human and the queen's daughter. "Are you ready, Myra?" Lauren asked gently. Myra tightened her grip on her staff. She felt nervous. Until now, she had practiced only in private chambers. Today, others would see her abilities. But Lauren's calm expression reassured her. "I am ready," she said softly. Lauren guided her to a floating platform at the center of the hall. The platform hovered a few feet above the ground, surrounded by glowing energy rings. Myra took a deep breath and focused on the energy around her. "Just feel it, Myra," Lauren whispered. "Let your mind guide it. Do not force it." Myra closed her eyes. The energy pulsed beneath her fingers, responding to her thoughts. Slowly, she lifted her hands, and a small sphere of light formed in front of her. It hovered, rotating gently. The crowd gasped. Few had ever seen the queen's daughter move energy like this. Some whispered in amazement, others in disbelief. "You are doing well," Lauren said, smiling. "Keep focusing." Myra's confidence grew. She imagined the energy flowing like water, strong but controlled. The sphere expanded, glowing brighter, then split into several smaller lights that danced around her. She could feel the rhythm of the energy, and it felt natural, like an extension of herself. One of the elder aliens stepped forward, frowning. "She is fragile. Can she really control such power?" Myra felt a flicker of fear, but Lauren squeezed her shoulder gently. "You can do it, Myra. Ignore their doubts. Focus on yourself." She nodded and took a deep breath. Slowly, she gathered the lights into a single, brilliant sphere above her head. The energy glowed with a golden hue, warm and calm. The hall filled with soft light, and all eyes turned to her in astonishment. The alien queen rose from her throne. Her eyes widened, though her expression remained carefully neutral. Myra had exceeded any expectations she had held for her daughter. "You are extraordinary, Myra," Lauren said quietly. "You have more power than most could imagine, and you controlled it beautifully." Myra felt a rush of pride. She had spent so long doubting herself, believing she was too weak to matter. Now, she realized that her mind, her focus, and her heart were her true strength. The crowd erupted into whispers, some clapping softly, others staring in awe. Myra looked at Lauren, her ember eyes shining. "Did I do well?" she asked. "You did more than well," he said. "You have shown everyone who you truly are." Myra's hands trembled slightly as the sphere of energy dissolved safely into the air. She had controlled it perfectly, yet the effort had been exhausting. Lauren helped her to a nearby seat, smiling proudly. Later, in the quiet of her chamber, Myra reflected on what had happened. She realized that she could do more than survive, she could shine. Lauren had helped her discover the power she had always hidden, and now she could show the world what she was capable of. But the whispers in the hall were not all positive. Some aliens were skeptical, seeing her abilities as dangerous. Others envied her, wishing they had such power. Myra understood that not everyone would support her. She would have to be careful and strong, using her abilities wisely. Lauren noticed her concern. "Do not worry about them now," he said. "You have taken the first step. The rest will come with practice and confidence." Myra nodded. She trusted Lauren. His guidance had shown her that she could achieve more than she had ever dreamed. That night, Myra lay on her bed, thinking of the day. She imagined controlling energy with even greater skill, helping her people, and protecting those she cared about. A new feeling settled in her chest, hope. For the first time, Myra believed that she could change not only her own life but the world around her. She would not be defined by her past limitations. She would grow stronger, smarter, and wiser. She would prove that even someone fragile could become powerful. Outside, the palace walls glowed under the twin suns. The alien queen watched silently, her mind filled with new questions. Her daughter had surprised her, and she did not yet understand the full scope of Myra's abilities. A quiet tension lingered in the air, one that hinted at challenges to come. Inside, Myra closed her eyes and smiled. Today had been her first public success, but it was only the beginning. With Lauren's guidance and her own determination, she knew she could achieve greatness. And for the first time, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A week after her public demonstration, Myra had grown more confident in her abilities. She practiced daily with Lauren, learning to control energy with precision. The palace halls were quieter now, but not completely calm. Rumors had spread among the alien court about her growing power, and not everyone welcomed it. One afternoon, Lauren suggested they explore the outer gardens. Myra was eager but cautious. The gardens were filled with strange plants and winding paths, and she knew some areas were less secure. As they walked, a sudden sound broke the calm. The ground trembled, and lights flickered across the palace walls. Myra froze, and Lauren immediately stepped in front of her. "Stay behind me," he said firmly. From the shadows, a group of alien soldiers appeared, their eyes cold and hostile. They were part of a rival faction that had opposed Myra's rise. "Step aside, human," one of them said, "or your guest will be harmed." Myra's heart pounded. She had never faced a real threat before, only cautious curiosity from others. But now, danger was real, and she had to act. Lauren raised his hands calmly. "We do not want conflict," he said. "But we will protect ourselves if necessary." The leader of the soldiers sneered. "The queen's daughter is weak. She cannot control what she does not understand. Let her be, or face the consequences." Myra felt a surge of determination. She gripped her staff and focused on the energy she had practiced with for days. The small tingling she felt before grew stronger, filling her with warmth and courage. "Lauren," she said quietly, "I can help." He nodded, trusting her judgment. "I know you can," Myra. Be careful and stay focused. Myra lifted her hands, and a sphere of golden energy formed above her head. It expanded and moved toward the soldiers, creating a protective barrier around herself and Lauren. The soldiers charged, but the energy shield held, stopping them without causing harm. The crowd of palace attendants gathered at a distance, watching in astonishment. No one had expected Myra to respond so quickly or effectively. The leader growled and tried to break through the barrier with energy weapons, but Myra concentrated. She had learned to control her power carefully, guiding it with her mind. Slowly, the sphere extended outward, pushing the attackers back without hurting them. "See," Lauren said quietly, "you are stronger than you think. Control your power, and it will protect you." Myra nodded, her ember eyes focused. She guided the energy with precision, feeling it respond to her thoughts. The soldiers stumbled backward, unable to reach them. Finally, the leader realized their attack was failing. With a final glare, he signaled a retreat. The soldiers disappeared into the shadows, leaving the gardens quiet once more. Myra exhaled deeply, feeling both relief and pride. She had faced real danger and used her abilities to protect herself and others. Lauren placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did perfectly, Myra," he said. "Not just controlling the energy, but keeping everyone safe. That is true strength." Myra's hands still trembled slightly, but she smiled. "I never thought I could do that," she admitted. "I was always afraid I would fail." "You will never know your limits if you do not try," Lauren said. "Today, you learned more than you could have imagined." When they returned to the palace, the alien queen was waiting. Her expression was calm, but her eyes revealed surprise. Myra had faced danger and emerged victorious without causing harm. The queen's daughter had shown courage, wisdom, and control beyond what anyone expected. "Your actions today were impressive," the queen said quietly. "It seems I underestimated you." Myra bowed slightly, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. She had grown, not just in power, but in confidence. She realized that strength was not only about abilities but about courage and choice. That night, Myra reflected on the events in her chamber. She had faced her first real threat and discovered that she could rise to challenges she had never imagined. She had learned that fear could be transformed into strength, and that with Lauren's guidance, she could achieve more than she had ever dreamed. Outside, the palace remained quiet, but a subtle tension lingered. Some aliens were wary, others curious. Myra knew that more challenges would come, but she no longer felt helpless. She had discovered her power, her mind, and her heart, and that was enough to face whatever lay ahead. Lauren sat nearby, watching her with a proud smile. "You are ready for the next steps, Myra," he said softly. "This is only the beginning of what you can achieve." Myra nodded. She felt a fire inside her, a determination to grow stronger, smarter, and wiser. She knew the path would not be easy, but she no longer feared it. With Lauren's guidance and her own courage, she would continue to rise. And for the first time, Myra believed that she could change not only her own life but the future of her people. The palace was quiet as Myra practiced in her chamber. She had grown stronger each day, her control over energy more precise. Today, Lauren had arranged for a special session to test her abilities in new ways. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Are you ready, Myra?" Lauren asked, holding a small device that projected swirling energy patterns. Myra nodded. "Yes. I want to try." Lauren smiled. "Remember, focus and patience. You control the energy, not the other way around." Myra closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. The patterns responded instantly, twisting and moving as she willed them. She directed one pattern into a small crystal, making it glow brightly. Then she gathered several streams of energy and formed them into a floating shield. Lauren watched closely, amazed at her skill. "You are improving faster than I expected," he said. "Your mind and heart are guiding your power perfectly." Myra felt a warmth in her chest. She had come so far from the fragile girl who had arrived weeks ago. Now she could manipulate energy with confidence, protect others, and think creatively. Lauren guided her to another device, one that simulated a small crisis scenario. Robots moved toward a simulated city, and Myra had to stop them without causing harm. She focused, and with a wave of her hands, redirected the robots' energy, stopping them safely. "You did it," Lauren said, smiling broadly. "You are not only powerful, but wise and careful. That is rare in any being." Myra looked at her hands, marveling at what she could do. Her body had limitations, but her mind and her energy had no boundaries. She realized that strength came in many forms, and her value was no longer measured by her legs but by her courage, intelligence, and heart. That evening, the alien queen summoned Myra to the throne room. Myra entered, standing tall despite her staff. Lauren remained nearby, silent but supportive. "You have grown beyond what I imagined," the queen said, her voice calm but filled with authority. "Your control, your wisdom, and your courage are remarkable. You are no longer the fragile girl I offered as a gift. You have become extraordinary." Myra bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I could with guidance and practice." The queen studied her carefully. "It is not only guidance. It is your heart and determination. You have transformed yourself, Myra. You have become a protector, a leader, and a force that inspires respect. This is a rare gift." Myra felt a mixture of pride and humility. She had never imagined such praise from her mother. For years, she had believed she was weak and unwanted, but now she was seen as someone capable of greatness. The queen stepped forward and placed a hand on Myra's shoulder. "I underestimated you. But I see now that you are more than I ever dreamed. You have the strength of mind, body, and spirit to guide others. You are ready to take your place among the leaders of our people." Myra's amber eyes glistened. She had transformed not only in power but in confidence and self-belief. She could feel the energy around her responding to her presence, calm and controlled. She was no longer the fragile child of the palace. She was a force to be reckoned with. Lauren stepped closer. "You have done more than anyone expected, Myra. I am proud of you. But remember, this is only the beginning. There is more to learn, more to protect, and more to inspire." Myra nodded. She knew he was right. Her abilities were strong, but wisdom and patience were equally important. She would continue to grow, to help others, and to show that even someone who seemed weak could become a leader and protector. Later that night, Myra stood by the balcony of the palace, looking out over the glowing city below. Her heart was filled with hope. She thought of the humans and aliens who might benefit from her guidance and protection. For the first time, she felt a sense of purpose that went beyond herself. The palace gardens shimmered in the moonlight, reflecting the energy she had learned to control. Myra raised her hand slightly, letting the energy flow around her. It was calm, gentle, and strong. She had become a goddess-like figure, not because of fear or force, but because of wisdom, courage, and heart. The alien queen watched from a distance, silently acknowledging her daughter's transformation. What had begun as a fragile gift had become something extraordinary. Myra was ready to shape the future, not just for herself, but for two civilizations. Inside, Lauren prepared for the next day's training. He knew Myra's journey was far from over, but he also knew she was ready. With determination, intelligence, and her growing power, Myra could face anything that came her way. And for the first time in her life, Myra felt truly complete. She had become more than anyone had imagined. She had become a force of hope, strength, and inspiration. The twin suns of the distant planet rose slowly, casting golden light over the human colony and the alien palace. Myra stood at the balcony, her ember eyes shining as she watched the two civilizations below. Humans moved among alien cities, curious and respectful, while aliens watched with cautious admiration. Peace had been fragile before, but now it was growing stronger. Lauren joined her, carrying a small device that measured energy flow in the city. "The systems are stable," he said, smiling. "Your guidance has helped both sides work together." Myra looked down, feeling proud but humble. She had learned so much, grown so much, and yet she knew her journey was not finished. "It is not just me," she said. "It is all of us. Humans and aliens, learning and helping each other." "Yes," Lauren agreed. "But your leadership, your courage, has shown everyone what is possible. You turned fear and doubt into strength and hope." Myra raised her hand slightly, feeling the flow of energy that connected both worlds. The air shimmered gently as if responding to her presence. She could sense the humans and aliens nearby, their intentions, their thoughts, and their hopes. She felt a responsibility that went beyond herself. The alien queen appeared beside her, silent but proud. "I underestimated you, Myra," she said quietly. "You have become more than I ever imagined. Not only strong and wise, but a symbol of unity and hope for our people." Myra bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I could with guidance and support." The Queen smiled faintly. "It is not only guidance. It is your courage, your heart, and your choices. That is what makes you remarkable." Below in the city, humans and aliens worked together to repair buildings, share knowledge, and teach each other new skills. Myra had created programs for energy management, transportation, and education that benefited both civilizations. The palace, once a symbol of alien authority alone, had become a center of learning and cooperation. Lauren stood quietly, watching Myra interact with her people. He remembered the fragile, shy girl she had been when the Queen gifted her to him. Now, she moved with grace and confidence, her energy controlled yet inspiring. He could see the admiration in the eyes of both humans and aliens. Suddenly, a young alien child approached Myra, holding a small device. "Can you show me how to use it?" the child asked eagerly. Myra knelt down gently. "Of course," she said. "Watch carefully, and I will guide you." She demonstrated, moving energy with ease and teaching the child to do the same safely. The child's eyes sparkled with excitement and wonder. Nearby, Lauren smiled. Myra had become a teacher, a leader, and a protector. Her influence was growing, not through fear or force, but through inspiration and example. As the day progressed, ambassadors from both civilizations gathered in the central hall. Myra addressed them calmly and clearly. "We have an opportunity to create a new future," she said. "One where humans and aliens respect and learn from each other. Together, we can solve problems that no one could solve alone." The crowd listened in awe. Her words were not just commands, they carried conviction, wisdom, and hope. Myra had become a bridge between two worlds, a symbol of what courage and determination could achieve. The alien queen nodded to Lauren, acknowledging his role as well. "Your guidance has been important," she said. "But Myra's choices, her strength, have changed everything." Lauren shook his head with a humble smile. "She had it inside her all along. I only helped her see it." That evening, Myra returned to the balcony. The city lights glowed below, humans and aliens moving together peacefully. She raised her hands, letting her energy flow gently, not as a weapon but as a guiding light. The air shimmered, reflecting the harmony she had helped create. "I could not have done this without you, Lauren," she said softly. "And I could not have seen your true potential without you trusting yourself," he replied. Myra looked out at the horizon. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment and peace. The fragile girl she once was had become a goddess-like figure, not because of power alone, but because of heart, courage, and wisdom. She had changed her own life and the future of two civilizations. The twin suns dipped lower, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet. Myra and Lauren stood side by side, watching the city below. It was a new era, a time of hope, learning, and unity. Myra smiled, knowing that challenges would still come. But she was ready. With her strength, her mind, and the support of those who believed in her, she would face them and continue to guide both civilizations toward a brighter future. And for the first time in her life, Myra felt complete. She had become more than anyone imagined. She had become a leader, a protector, and a beacon of hope.